All right. These wonderful gentlemen here on this illustrious panel have elected for us to partake and rehash the classic piece of cinema we refer to as The Green Mile from 1999. My fellow brethren have gathered here tonight so that we could deliberate upon the veracity and the overall gumption of the greatness that is this film. And, I don't feel like we need to spend a whole lot of time remembering or retroizing how we initially felt before the film came out. I feel like we should all bask in the glory of this creation and all lay upon the subtle masses all of our wonderful words of esteem for this moment in time that we all get to re-enjoy this piece of fiction. So, Mr. Panther, would you please so willingly and so eloquently as you always do give us your highs and lows of this classic piece of cinema?
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to say thank you very much for having me up here on this podium, speaking about this movie from the late 90s,
yes, sir.
referring to the 1930s.
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to do that shit this whole time.
I was like, don't do it.
I can see Lingo looking, we're not going to do this. We're not going to go down south the whole Southern Belle. This movie is a movie in which 3 hours of, some would say a masterpiece or nearly a masterpiece, where you don't feel those 3 hours because the developmental characters that you're getting, it doesn't feel like you're looking at your watches. Everything is nice and it has a flow into it, and you have a connection from the very beginning of this character JC. You get that from everyone, even if you didn't like them. And because it's set in the 1930s, your guard, especially being someone of color, a minority or like that, or your guard is let down about diversity and language and certain things because you're just in this. You're not looking at it. Tom Hanks and the cast is phenomenal, Duncan and everything. You're just on what this movie means. And as a kid or younger watching this movie, I didn't get it. It wasn't until I watched it later on in my life, and I've probably seen it over 4 or 5 times, that you see the realness of what this movie is. So like you said before, not going to go in expectations, but the high of this movie, I would say, is the sentimental value of it. Watching someone who is innocent and watching their unwavering love to be a beacon of light, literally, for humanity, and watching what this individual does. And just the low would be just moments that had to happen, unfortunately, for you to feel it. I'm referring to the part of the movie where, spoiler alert, something has to do with electricity happens towards the end, and you're watching these officers who are torn because they know the real person. And at this point, as you as the viewer, you know the real person. You also know the truth of the incident. And it's that emotional tie that goes in. And then it just spirals into something else. So like I said, it's a classic.
All right, sir, Mr. Lingo, would you rather take over?
Yes. So for me, the highs was the fact that in this setting, you actually have Tom Hanks and the rest of the girls. There was only one particular person that was just riddled with evil and racism. And, in that time period, it's so easy for everybody to be that way, which made me hesitant to see it back then. I really appreciated that this time the roles were reversed. Instead of being one guy that's seeing potential and just doing his job and not caring about race or color, there was a group of them, and then there was only one bad. So that was I really appreciate that, even when I saw it back then. So now, because I don't like going back to period pieces, when I saw the trailer and I got the Yes Sir Boss and all that stuff, I was like, but it is Stephen King, so I did want to see it. Another thing I loved about the characters is Tom Hanks's reaction to his interaction and being healed. a lot of these movies nowadays will have that character go on and on, questioning and doubting that what just happened. You just witnessed a miracle, and just accept it for what it is, and let's move on with the story. And so I appreciated the writing in that. It was like, boom, I see what happened, and I'm seeing more, and I know what we have here. And I just thought it was well done. He didn't go crazy. He didn't go run around trying to tell everybody, and they looking at him like he was crazy. He believed it immediately. He was relieved. I was relieved because he was selling that pain. He had me grabbing my. So I was anyway. Another high for me was that the horrible men in this film, that they got what they deserved. That was another thing I was worried about, because realistically, we know in that time setting, there's no way that John Coffey, played by Michael Clark Duncan, was going to get any justice. But the people that wronged him, the two evil guys in the movie, definitely got what they deserved. So I was still very pleased. And I also like the fact that they didn't try to make it something that we know wasn't gonna really happen. They didn't try to get him proven innocent, because there's no way anybody was gonna let you even start down that path. They would end up putting you right there next to him, and so we got an interesting story. It wasn't a happy ending for everyone, but it was still well done, and that was what highs for me. The lows for me, though, one of the things that bothered me the most was that I needed a little bit more chaos or fight from the warden when they brought John Coffey to his house, to his wife, because even though it wasn't done that way, and you guys probably think I'm immature, but even when I watched it back then, it almost seemed a little sexual, at first. The way she was sitting in the bed, and the nightgown was all up, and he's peeking through the door. And I didn't think that scene was believable enough where the warden was putting up enough fight. I think the warden should have been fighting all the way until the moment where she was healed, and that would have made that scene more believable for me. But I understood what needed to happen, and maybe the director didn't want to make people more uncomfortable than they already were, because the big black man was about to put his hands on a white woman. I don't know. So but that was another low for me, was that Tom Hanks character. I didn't like the way he had to live on, and everything that he cared about would go, and he would get new attachments. And I'm trying not to spoil, but Tom Hanks, in my opinion, the way he ended up in the movie, I didn't think that was really fair. I didn't really like that, and that's the only low that I have. And I'm done.
All right. Jesus Louises, like great film. I am right there with my guy Eddie. One of the biggest things that makes me hate old films or period pieces is the depiction of black people in their historical context. The Yasa Misa boss, and the slavery, and the despicable mistreatment, the comfort that which white people got to be in a dominant and abusive space. I hate watching it. It makes me angry. It makes me frustrated. This film doesn't dissuade that feeling, but I feel like how well the story is written, and how well the story is shot, how well the story is acted, my anger is not subsided completely, but it kind of moves to the back, and it's there, and I'm angry and irritated, but I'm also really, it's a testament to how great the story is, because I'm locked in. I'm feeling for this gentle giant. I'm even kind of, to a certain extent, I have a respect for Tom Hanks' character. I have, there's so many elements about this film that makes me not hate everything about it, but I love it. Man, the guy that plays John Coffey, I forgot his name. I think that was like one of his first real acting gigs.
Michael Clark Duncan. Yeah, that
was Clark Duncan.
One of his real biggest serious roles.
Yeah, he was not, he did a bunch of stuff, but like that was like one of his most powerful performances. And I don't know if I played it on this show or another show, but it was like an actor talking about the skill of acting. And he says the mark of a great actor is not overacting. It's how much you can hide through, not showing it. He was like, because the normal human way of living is to keep your emotions below, below the face. Well, meaning that you're not showing emotion. And it was just so much that Michael Clark Duncan did well in this. And how even the mystical, magical elements of it, I thought that was fire. But it wasn't over the top. This wasn't technically, this is kind of like a fantasy film, but realistically, not. You know what I'm saying? Just figured out for the first time when Eddie said John Coffey, I was like, how the fuck did I not pick up on JC? I'm an idiot. So, like, you know what I mean? And it puts a bunch of different things in a perspective. It's one of those movies you have to watch more than once. There's so many different details that are there because there's so much stuff for you to emotionally be attached to out front, but there's so much nuance. As a rewatching it recently, getting prepared for this, I'm seeing stuff in the background and the subtle nuances of certain conversations and certain. I'm like, wow, like this film is layered. This is another reaffirmation of why certain people like the creators are just masters of the art form. Like, you know what I mean? Love this film. I don't want to keep going on and on. I don't necessarily have any lows. I mean, everything that I might have disliked was necessary for the film. So I'm all the way in. This is something I can watch over and over again. If it comes on TV, I'm stopping to watch it. I would recommend this for anybody that if you say you have a real film collection, this should be a part of it. You know what I mean? Because the moment I see that you have it, I'm like, all right, you like good films. Now, is it the most exciting thing? Nope. Does things explode? Nope. Ain't no real nudity. Nope. It's none of that. But it's just one of those things that your eyes will be glued to the screen and you will be crying at the end of the film. And that's just par for the course. So with that being said,
wait, don't forget about Iris's review.
Oh yes. Miss Iris posted this. Nolo's entire movie is amazing. Crouch grabbing was my favorite part. Hilarious.
Everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
Wishing I could throw my face through a window. Thanks, Iris. Yeah.
So let's rate it.
Boy, thanks, Iris. That's so special. All right, what's your rating? Is it a classic? Is it a good watch? Is it catch on streaming? Is it not doing it for me? Is it a or if you ever show me this ever again, I will slap you. Let's go with the Panther, man. Are you giving it them paws or does it get classic? Where are we going with it? How does it fall?
I'm gonna say that this is a classic. It just hits on the right notes. It's a movie that, again, we're still talking about. Even a different movie that we're pairing it, with, and the life of Mr. Duncan as he passed prematurely, as far as what he was able to accomplish. Something that's interesting about the movie, not just the JC reference, which goes into other books with Stephen King as a character that's powerful. But Michael almost didn't play this part. He got this part because Bruce Willis mentioned him after what he worked on with Armageddon. So they were trying to find someone for this role, and it was someone else who, took a shot on him and said, hey, this is who you got. So but it hits on all the strings. I do agree on that scene with the Warren and what you could have done, that I think not burning Mississippi type of tension, but you could have pressed the envelope on a movie that was already kind of gently pressing that envelope. But it just hits on so many strings. It's similar to like Forrest Gump, where the recipe is just right. The part where he's outside with the two girls, and a part of you wants to say, just tell them the truth, just tell them what happened, but without words, you're just as entangled as he is. He can't say it, and then you don't understand what he's saying when he said he tried to fix it. Like you're torn in the middle of the mob, who's like, what do you mean you tried to fix it but it was too late? But later in that story, for that 3-hour development, you're like, he tried to do what he's done with the mouse, he tried to do what he did with this, and he couldn't fix it. And just moments with like how gentle, like leave the light on, not everyone had, let me show you what's in this man's heart. And you felt that look in Tom Hanks' face. But it also somberly goes with a gentleman, I hope I don't mispronounce his name, George Stintley Jr., was 14 years old in 1929, was executed by the electric chair for a lie that was told against him by a white woman saying that he did that. So to see the resemblance of that, and Stephen King doesn't nod to it, but it's just so eerily close to 1929 versus this set in 1930s. Now, he was exonerated for his crimes later on after with his family working to fight those changes, but it's just such an impactful moment like that. So yeah, it's a classic.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Lingo, sir.
If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna take that last piece that Ron, that Panther gave, and put Iris's face over it and say that was her review, because that was like a whole nother review. It was great. But my rating is Iris wants you guys to know her rating is a classic for this film. But mine also is a classic. I feel like this is one of those. What's up?
No, go ahead, sir. Go.
I feel like this is one of those films that no matter who I come across, this is gonna, like the Dad Panther said, it's gonna always spark a conversation. I'm gonna always push somebody who hasn't seen it to see it, and it's well done where I can sit through it. And I didn't feel like it was 3 hours when he said it. I was like, was it 3 hours? So
it goes by for real. So shout out to that. And I'm also gonna say it's a classic. Come on, bro. We come on. This is, I hate to say it, this is Hollywood by the numbers, but this is Hollywood by the numbers at its best. This is it, baby. This is it. This is the reason why they have Hollywood by the numbers. I mean, but when you have the right mixture of the right things, and I mean, at the core of it, having a great story, and not going over the top, not doing too much, just doing the perfect amount of everything, and leaving the heavy lifting to the actors to really just sell it. And then the cinematography, how soft everything is, and how they have a great way of balancing the dark and the dreary with this kind of soft inspirational vibe, and it could easily switch between one and the other the whole time, to kind of counterbalance the moods of the different characters that are coming in the room. Just a great job, man. Great job. All right, and go in the comment section right now and tell us how you feel about the film. You know what I mean? Was it good? Was it bad? Indifferent? I don't know. You could disagree with us. We're a bunch of fucking chicken shit sons of bitches that may not know a goddamn thing. So go in the comments and tell us how you feel. See how Dad Panther feels? See? He don't feel like he's a chicken shit. So just let him know how you feel.